Because of a series of medical calamities, my father essentially got brain damage. I can explain it in more detail if you want me to. But it wasn't obvious at first because he was an extremely charming man with emotional attunement. He maintained eye contact. He was incredibly funny, kind, and he had an incredible vocabulary, a Latinate polysyllabic vocabulary. And so those two things, the charm and the eloquence, masked the fact that he was losing his mind. So during that period where he began to lose his mind, before we figured it out, was about 9 months. And during those 9 months, he managed to lose his entire life savings, a considerable amount of money, and possibly was exploited. He made some crazy investments, we found out, and it's possible to me, looking back on it, that predators targeted him and convinced him to invest a serious amount of money in crazy things, which is what he did. Financially, before he went in for this procedure, he should have gotten his affairs in order. I don't know if he was told to, and my guess is even if he was told to, he wouldn't have, because he was fit. The likelihood of anything going wrong was less than 0.5%. I just don't think he thought he had to get his affairs in order. So ideally what would have happened even before that is if he had proactive financial advisors, they would have gotten involved with our family when my dad was, say, 55 or 60 and said, we need to begin the transfer of family wealth. So that even if my dad didn't get his affairs in order, there would have been structures in place where my brother and I and my mother would have known what was happening financially. For example, I don't know if my father's financial advisors even knew that he was going in to have a catheter ablation. He thought of it as a routine procedure. I don't know if he told them. So it makes me wonder, how could they have known? Like, what could they have done to know what was going on a little bit more in my father's life? So just in that particular example, I wonder if financial advisors could say, you know, I would like to know whenever you're having a medical procedure done, let's just stay on top of this because it can impact your finances. So just keep me in the loop. So I think that's one thing. Again, another thing would be the financial advisor getting to know the family, if possible, the other generations, particularly if they're young adults in the family. And I don't know, I mean, my father had a really friendly, jocular relationship with his financial advisors. I knew them. They came to dinner, there were a couple of them. So it was friendly, and so in that case, they did a good job. They knew my dad. But so there was a relationship, but it wasn't enough. You know, we had these guys to dinner. My dad played tennis with them, in fact. But they weren't asking the tough questions, you know. So even with that bond, there was a lot missing. Which is why what I really recommend beyond that is when the major financial person in a family turns a certain age, let's say 60 or 55, it becomes a family, the beginning of the family transfer of management of wealth happens, no matter what. It's not that tough to go, dudes, you know, this is insurance. If you don't do this, you're potentially putting your family at peril. That's not that tough. It's not that confrontational. It's way before they have to say, seems like your dad has dementia.